Imagine this. The lights drop, the music swells, and we dive headfirst into one of the most electrifying speculative scenarios in the entire crypto market. The possibility of XRP entering a price zone so extreme that it flips the financial world upside down. Before we dive into the heart of today's discussion, it's crucial to set the stage with a clear disclaimer. Please remember, everything you're about to hear is not financial advice, nor is it a guarantee of future outcomes. The world of cryptocurrency is volatile, unpredictable, and often driven by speculation. Our goal here is to inform, educate, and spark thoughtful conversation, not to promise riches or certainty. All the scenarios, predictions, and possibilities we'll explore today are rooted in speculation, community-driven theories, and hypothetical situations. These are ideas that have been circulating within the crypto space, debated in online forums, and discussed by analysts and enthusiasts alike. For XRP to reach the kind of life-changing appreciation some envision, a perfect storm of factors would need to align, many of which remain uncertain and outside anyone's control. With that important context in mind, let's begin to unpack the fascinating chain of ideas and narratives that are fueling so much excitement and speculation right now. We'll look at what's driving the buzz and why so many are paying close attention. Over the next hour and beyond, we'll break down the latest rumors, examine legal interpretations, and analyze the macroeconomic forces at play. We'll also explore the sweeping technological changes that are reshaping the financial landscape. Together, we'll consider whether a major institutional shift toward blockchain-based settlement networks could truly ignite an unprecedented surge in demand for utility-driven digital assets like XRP. So, get ready for a deep dive into the possibilities, the challenges, and the big questions shaping the future of crypto. First, we'll start with the narrative swirling around the community. This idea that in a hypothetical scenario where a global consortium of banks move toward instantaneous settlement layers, the XRP ledger could theoretically be positioned as one of the networks capable of handling high-frequency, high-volume cross-border liquidity. In that theoretical framework, some analysts argue that utility demand could escalate dramatically if such systems require deep liquidity pools to function efficiently. For the next section, we'll pull apart whether such demand could ever justify extreme price models. We'll walk through the math behind liquidity corridors, contrast traditional nostro-vostro systems with on-demand liquidity protocols, and evaluate how much capital is currently trapped in legacy rails, asking how much of that could realistically transition into blockchain-based infrastructure. From there, we'll explore institutional psychology. Because for any asset to move aggressively, large players don't just need technology, they need incentives. What would motivate global institutions to adopt a new settlement layer? How would regulatory clarity play into that adoption curve? Could transparent rules accelerate innovation, or would caution slow everything down? You'll get a full breakdown of both best-case and worst-case adoption timelines. Next, we'll journey into the speculative theories around what a hypothetical settlement or regulatory breakthrough could mean for market sentiment. When markets anticipate clarity, liquidity often surges, not because of guarantees, but because traders position themselves ahead of perceived catalysts. Could that happen here? Possibly, but only if real-world conditions align with the expectations. In the middle portion of this deep dive, we'll shift into the global macro picture, discussing how inflation de-dollarization narratives, CBDC experiments, and geopolitical tensions influence investor psychology. We'll talk about how some economies are looking for faster, more secure transfer mechanisms, and how blockchain might fit into those long-term strategies. All right. So next up, we'll take a bit of a detour into the technology itself. We're going to analyze the XRP ledger's transaction speed, its cost efficiency, the decentralization model, validator structure, and of course the governance approach. Instead of just diving into the hype, let's actually break it all down technically, explaining what makes the system so appealing and, honestly, what challenges it still faces. Now, another major section we need to cover is community-driven narratives. In the world of cryptocurrency, the power of the crowd is undeniable. Communities form the backbone of many projects, and their collective voice can move markets, shape reputations, and even influence the direction of entire ecosystems. These narratives are not just stories, they're living, breathing forces that can drive adoption or spark controversy overnight. So we'll look at how social sentiment forms, how opinions and emotions spread rapidly across platforms like Twitter, Reddit, and Telegram, and how a single viral post can sometimes shift the mood of an entire market. We'll also explore how speculation can really spiral, how influencers shape expectations by sharing bold predictions or warnings, and how their content can reach thousands, sometimes millions, of eager followers in just minutes. And we'll see how retail investors, often driven by excitement or fear of missing out, end up amplifying some pretty dramatic predictions, fueling even more hype and volatility in the process. We'll also examine why those high-price targets attract so much attention, how they tap into dreams of quick wealth, and why they're so compelling for both new and seasoned investors alike. And how they can create echo chambers if people aren't careful to differentiate between actual analysis and just plain certainty. Understanding these dynamics is crucial for anyone navigating the crypto space today. And then toward the last third of the video, we'll unpack realistic price modeling from credible analysts. We'll compare modest targets, aggressive targets, and even those hyper-speculative scenarios. Plus, we'll talk about the math behind things like liquidity depth, market cap scaling, available supply, the velocity of money, and the real-world utility demands that actually drive value. Alright, so next let's talk about some of the psychological traps that investors often fall into, like FOMO, panic buying, and confirmation bias. It's really easy to get caught up in the hype, or let your emotions take over, but honestly, the best strategy is to ground your decisions in solid research, instead of just reacting to how you feel in the moment. As we approach the final stretch, we'll turn this into a strategic learning moment. Let's talk about how to approach market rumors safely, how to evaluate sources, how to separate factual updates from sensational headlines, and honestly, how to build a long-term perspective instead of chasing every dramatic claim circulating online. And finally, we'll close with a powerful reminder. Wealth is built with disciplined research and long-term thinking. Speculative scenarios can be fun, educational, and honestly, pretty electrifying to explore, but no one should ever make decisions based solely on hype. If you enjoyed breaking down the theories, narratives, possibilities, and mechanics behind these extreme predictions, and if you want deeper analysis, smarter strategies, and level-headed discussions about crypto every day, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next update. Your journey through the crypto world deserves clarity, confidence, and knowledge, and that's exactly what we deliver here. Before we dive into today's content, I want to make it absolutely clear that I am not a licensed financial advisor, nor do I claim to be an expert in financial planning or investment strategies. The information I share here is based on my own experiences, research, and opinions, and is intended to provide general insights and entertainment only. The content presented in these videos is purely for entertainment purposes and should not be considered as professional financial advice. Everyone's financial situation is unique, and what works for one person may not be suitable for another. My goal is to spark your curiosity and encourage you to learn more about personal finance in a fun and engaging way. I always encourage viewers to conduct their own thorough research, compare multiple sources, and consult with qualified financial professionals before making any investment or financial decision.